What do you mean?
Hey everyone, this is DW's Darius. Right now you're looking at my 350-gallon aquarium. Last week I showed you guys the addition of my male Festae cichlid to this tank. Since he's been in the tank, he's been causing just a chain reaction of different emotions and expressions from the other fish in the aquarium. And you know, fish, they don't make sounds, they communicate with body language, body signals. And today I'm going to give you guys a look at some of the body signals that my fish give off, and just some of my interpretations of what I think it means. So first off, all fish are able to communicate with each other, whether it's by a body movement or by changing colors. All fish have some way of sending signals and messages back and forth to each other. Even fish of different species, they still can understand each other to some extent. But from my experience, I find that with cichlids, their communication is a little bit more obvious. And that's one of the reasons why cichlids are so famous. They're just highly expressive. You get a lot of character from these fish, and it's just easier to know how these fish feel. So with me, these fish in the 350-gallon aquarium, they're a little bit larger. Well, they're a lot larger than some of the other fish that I keep down here. And because of their size, I believe that's the reason why it's just so easy to recognize their body language and just some of the signals that they give to each other. So today I want to just give you guys a quick look at some of the signals that I picked up and what I believe they mean. Okay everyone, so the first body language I want to talk about is with the dorsal fins. So for those of you who may be unfamiliar with fish parts, the dorsal fin is the fin that sits right there at the top of the fish. These two, by the way, are my Cichlid azul peacock bass, and every now and then they like to go at it with each other just for the sake of competition. But yeah, the dorsal fin is that top fin. I used to believe that when the fins were up, it meant that the fish was being aggressive, and I believe that when the fins were down, it meant that the fins were, the fish itself was being peaceful. However, there's a lot more to it than that. Now, I do believe that when the fins are down, the fish is at a relaxed state. That being if the fish is healthy. There are some sicknesses that will cause the fish's fins to clamp up. So if the fish is healthy and if the dorsal fin is down, I believe that that's just a relaxed state for the fish. That being said, I believe that if the dorsal fins are up, it doesn't necessarily mean that the fish is unrelaxed. However, I do believe that something has caught the fish's attention. Now, I've seen these fish raise their dorsal fin when I prepared to feed the tank. I've seen them raise their dorsal fin when they were ready to fight each other, as you just saw here. And I've seen them raise their dorsal fin when I make a sudden movement and scare them. So there's a number of different things that trigger the dorsal fin, and I think that the best way to describe the use of the dorsal fin is by comparing it to the human eyebrow. So I believe that the same way we humans use our eyebrows to communicate and to show different emotions like joy, anger, sadness, shock, fear, all these different things we can show with our eyebrows, I believe it's the same thing that these fish are doing with their dorsal fin. So I believe the dorsal fin is pretty much just like a facial expression, an emoji, a way for these fish to express themselves. Now this all comes from just watching these fish, watching the different responses and just watching how they work. And this is my theory. Of course, it's not factual, but it's based on me observing these fish. Okay everyone, the next body sign I want to give you guys is a common one, and it's pretty easy to discern, and that is the flaring of the gills. So right now we're looking at my Festae cichlid because this guy just loves to flare his gills. He's a very aggressive little fish, so eventually when I finish making this video, I will be taking him out of this aquarium. But the flaring of the gills, now once again, this is a very easy sign or body language to discern, and it is simply aggression. Now of course there are different levels with different flares. You have your basic flare. Of course I'm not going to get any examples. I do have video of this guy flaring, so I may overlap this video, but you have your basic flare, which is just simply using the gills, and then when you have more aggression you're going to have some gills up, and then you're going to have like a sideward swim and stuff like that. But regardless, flaring of the gills is a sign of aggression, and the best way to compare it, you can see I have a slight little flare from these peacock bass. But the best thing to compare the flaring of the gills to is to a dog growl. So if you ever heard a dog growl, the growl is pretty much the warning. And we have the Festae over here. He's coming, and you can see he's flaring his gills. So he's pretty much growling at these peacock bass, and they're growling at each other. So I believe that that's the best way to break down the flaring. Flaring is pretty much the first warning before aggression. Once again, there are different levels. Right here, the peacock bass showing one of the lowest levels, which is basic flare. Same with the Festae right here, the basic flare with the gills poked out. And then when it gets more aggressive, you're gonna have stuff like a twisted body and stuff like that. I think I do have video, so I will be overlapping this video with some examples of different degrees of flaring. But flaring is always aggression. Think of it as your fish way of growling at each other. Okay everyone, the next sign I'm going to show you guys is the body shake. So this is something that I see pretty often with my peacock bass. We might witness it now. No. But basically the fish goes in front of the other fish and shakes his body up and down, and basically what that means is that the fish is trying to show off his color. He's trying to show off his size. I see males do it with other males when they're competing. I see males do it with females when they're trying to seduce them. So pretty much the body shake is a way of showing off. Similar to that, we have the tail shake. So right here we have my red devil who's blocking my Oscar cichlid. The Oscar cichlid, when I was making that video last week about his growth rate, I witnessed the last time he came in front of the red devil, he shook his tail a lot back and forth. Now this behavior, I've only seen it with Oscars and I've only seen it with my peacock bass. I haven't seen any other fish do it, and I believe that this is pretty much the same as the body shake, just a way of sporting his body, showing his size, his color. And it's just a method to intimidate an enemy or even to seduce a female. Okay everyone, the next body language is going to be with color. Now this is the big one. We see our fish change colors all the time. They can change colors instantly. The perfect example is this Festae cichlid. Look at him now and check him out when he was living inside my 210-gallon aquarium. And I believe that color has a few different meanings, but one of the main meanings is ranking in the aquarium, where they fit in the hierarchy, their social status in the aquarium. That being said, I believe that the most colorful fish, or the fish showing their top potential, is going to be the top ranking fish, in this case the red devil. Now you might say the red devil isn't as colorful as the other fish in this aquarium, but compared to red devils in general, this guy is looking awesome, especially when you compare him to how he used to look before. He was more darker red, his nuka hump was smaller. In this aquarium he's a bright orange, and he just looks thicker in this aquarium, and that's just because of his rank. And that happened almost overnight, so it's definitely not because he's been growing in this aquarium. It's just a change of mood, so he changed his color. Same thing with all the other fish in this aquarium. Fish that are low ranking won't show that much color, and fish that are higher ranking will show a greater color. And I believe that that's the main topic, or the main communication with color. It just shows their ranking in an aquarium. So over here we have my peacock bass. These guys, they're not at the bottom, but at the same time they're not at the top. But these fish, they really don't get into the ranking as much as some of these other cichlids. So because of that, I get a decent amount of color. Right here we have the Oscar cichlid. He's second ranking in the tank, so his colors are not that bad. But if this guy was to overcome the red devil, if he was to become more dominant than the red devil, I'm sure his colors will increase. Same thing with the Festae cichlid. And the lowest ranking cichlid in his tank is my peacock bass back there. This guy is supposed to be orange, not orange, he's supposed to be yellow. He's the same species as my old peacock bass. I want to see if I can bring him closer so you guys can see how he looks. Well, he's not going to come closer yet, but this guy, he's supposed to be a nice gold gold coloration, and he's not, and that's simply because of his size and his rank. So I believe that when it comes to fish color, they show different colors based on their ranking, their social status in the aquarium. Okay everyone, so those are some of the common body signs and communications that I've seen with my fish. Now of course there's a lot more communication going on than what I said in this video. There are also a few more that I actually know. I just wasn't able to get them on camera, and I think that if I can't actually record the behavior, it's not worth mentioning. But yeah, that's some of the common behavior I've witnessed from these fish, and that is my interpretation of what I believe it means. Now of course this is based on my experience, based on me simply sitting in front of these tanks and watching the cause and effect, but I'd love to hear your opinions. If any of you guys agree or disagree, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Now keep in mind, as I said in the beginning of the video, these body languages are mostly seen on cichlids. There are a number of fish that won't use these same methods of communication. For example, the flaghelper chilodus is a fish that will never flare its gills and do just about all the things that I said about these cichlids. So there are some fish that won't use this method of communication, but of course I believe that all cichlids, they communicate in these ways. And there are a few other fish that communicate in similar ways, like gouramis, leaf fish, and datnoids. But yeah everyone, that's been a quick look at some of the body language I see on my fish and some of my interpretations. So hopefully this video was helpful to somebody. I know a lot of my subscribers, they keep some of the fish I keep, or they want to keep the fish that I keep. And if you ever do keep these fish, hopefully this video can let you know some of the things they do and what it means. Now I'm getting ready to shut off all the lights down here in the fish room, and I'm going to try to catch this guy, the Festae cichlid back there, the yellow guy, to remove him out of this aquarium. I actually love him in this tank. I love his color. And I love the fact that he fits in so well. This is a South American aquarium, and I believe that he fits so well with his decorations. He camouflages very perfectly. However, he's being extremely aggressive towards my peacock bass, and he pretty much keeps them in that corner. If they cross that driftwood, he attacks them, and I definitely can't have that because those are the main stars of this tank. So I'm going to be trying to catch this guy to remove him. Now I'm hoping that it's only because they're bigger than him. So because of that, if it is the case, I will be adding him a little bit later when he is larger, and hopefully because he will be the same size, he won't find him to be so intimidating. However, if it's rather because of the similarity in color, you see he has stripes and they have stripes. If that's the case, then I'll never be able to add them because they're always going to look the same. So hopefully it's just because of the size. If that's the case, I will be re-adding him. But yeah, this guy is gone, and it's a shame. But he's a very aggressive fish. But anyway everybody, that's going to look at the 350. As always, any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and if you want more, be sure to subscribe because you already know more is coming. See you guys on the next one.